Welcome to the Play Cousins podcast, a dose of healthy conversations with your Play Cousins. A dose of healthy conversations with your Play Cousins. Welcome to the Play Cousins podcast.
Hey guys.
I just love our theme music, so I'll be jamming when it's hey.
Listen, the joys of life.
Yes.
So how have y'all been doing?
Thriving and surviving, and
Okay.
rap will slapping Jasmine style.
Don't have no bond money for you no more, cousin. Don't get locked up.
I know,
Yeah.
right? I don't have no more chances.
No more chances.
Like, it has definitely been an interesting couple of days post Oscars.
Yeah.
I really don't even want to talk about it because I would just say go back and watch our podcast Massage Noir because that's my sentiment.
Yeah, agreed. Me too. I'm on the same thing. Like these people are getting on my nerves, but yeah.
So we're gonna jump right in it because cousin Jazz
Booked and busy.
booked and busy and being an adult. So she's adulting, you know. We all are not trust fund babies over here.
Exactly.
So, you know, we have to adult.
I wish
Right.
somebody had done the adulting for me, so I wouldn't have to adult so hard right now.
That part.
Adults, yeah. Yes.
So to just kind of like jump right into our topic today, we are going to be talking about adulting. And for me, it's ghetto. Like
Very much.
super ghetto, you know. It's no manual, it's not Cliff Notes for dummies, like none of that. So to start this conversation off, I'm gonna go through the vague dictionary definition. So this is what they give you when you result to the definition of words. And so by adulting, what it means is, by definition, the practice of behaving in a way characteristics of a responsible adult,
Yeah.
especially the accomplishment of mundane but necessary tasks. What can you do with that? What can we do with that? Does that tell you what to do?
No, it doesn't. It's very, I guess, mundane tasks. That's kind of telling you what to do, but I don't know. It's just not. That doesn't encompass everything that it is being an adult.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's really
it sound not fun.
Yeah.
Like, at all. It's like it's mundane. You just gonna have to push through.
Right. Sorry for you.
So I mean, if you was talking to either a peer or a young adult, like, you know, a teenager that's about to hit 18, like what would you kind of describe to them what adulthood is?
TDot, you want to go first?
Girl. I like to think like it's like pluses and minuses of adulting, right? So you get to do what you want to do, but sometimes you got to do what you got to do so you can do what you want to do. So it's some pluses and minuses, and just gotta definitely do what you're supposed to do, or you end up locked up, owing taxes.
Right.
Still got student loans for like $100,000, and you graduated 50 years ago. So you know, some things you just gotta do. But
yeah, I agree. I think adulting is recognizing that the mattress doesn't come with the bed frame. I think I think that's one of the best ways to describe adulting, because when you get out there on your own and you recognize that the two are sold separately, you start to recognize that you will be paying for everything on your own if you do adulting right. Or, you can scam people, and we ain't gonna go into that. But I would describe that to a young person who's making their way into being an adult and about to spring off on their own, and just being like, it's a responsibility. Everything about your life is now your responsibility. So that means making sure paperwork is up to date, making sure that you go and get checkups, making sure that you at whatever you do, like your job, making sure you go and show up and be at your job, making sure you don't get fired, making sure you got money, making sure you take care of your sexual health. All of these things, it's your responsibility now. That's what I guess adulting is. And then if you work hard, you get to play hard.
Right.
And I would say just like you with TDot, I would say that there are, pluses and minuses. There are rewards, consequences. It can be so lame, but adulting can be so fun at the same time.
Okay. So I read this interesting article from Home Magazine of all publications. I ran into it when I was doing my renovation, which is some adulting stuff. And
that's 2.0 though. Renovation, that's 2.0.
And so in this article, they had a couple of life skills that they were like young adults and, going into adulthood, what you should have. And before I even get into this, I did not see on this article have a job whatsoever. And I don't think they realized that they left that off. So the first one was change a tire. And I'm like, okay, I see where you're going with that. But
as adulting?
Yes, life skills that you need to have as adulting. So I'm going to just run off through the list. So change a tire was number 1. Create and manage a budget. Have a bank account and manage a checkbook. I think that's a little dated.
Yeah.
Do your taxes. Fix basic household issues. Navigate without a GPS. Parallel park. Understand how insurance works. Get a life insurance policy on yourself. Jumpstart a car. Make your clothes. Cook a real meal. Gracefully accept feedback. Admit when you're wrong. Manage your time wisely. Don't be afraid to say no. Adjust to new environments. Clean up a house. So those were like some of the highlights. Some other ones I was like, they don't apply. And after looking at this list, do you think adulting can depend on like your race and your culture and your sex? Like, because some of these things, it's like, okay, yes, you need to do it, but like the job part was missing. Like, I feel like a lot of these things that kind of help us are supposed to help us navigate, leave off a whole bunch of stuff.
Right. Like, I'm going crazy over the fact that they didn't mention secure a job that can help you with your livelihood.
Right.
That's the part where I'm just like, what? Fix a tire?
How you gonna buy the tire?
Exactly. I'm like,
girl, you gonna be scamming. I'm like, was this list made in the Oregon Trail when we were catching cholera?
Right.
Yeah, I'm very concerned about whoever put this list together. I think that they're not adulting. This is very weird.
And so that kind of ties into like societal pressures. So, when we were coming up, we were kind of taught like you made it. The American dream was what? The 2.5 kids, the husband, the wife, the house with the picket fence.
Yes.
We got a car. And then so like in adulthood and just how I guess we see ourselves as, you made it and you're grown up. Like, what are some things that y'all went through, either from societal pressures or kind of like your upbringing, that kind of formed your adulthood?
I just had to get a job. What was missing is the job portion. And that's what my mom was like, no, you need a job. So when I went to school, I got out of school with my $120,000 degree.
Woof.
And I ain't have nobody's job. And my mom was, oh, you real cute. Just go. Your best friend work at Old Navy. Go work at Old Navy with your best friend. Come back home, put on your suit if you feel like you want to be real jazzy and businesslike. But you're going to work. So that was like the only pressure I think that I technically had that I paid attention to. Because people ask you all day, every day if you getting married, having kids, all that kind of stuff. But I don't.
Yeah, I'm bothered with that.
What about you, Jazz? Like, any like societal pressures or like upbringing, like you knew that this was the standard of what you had to
do? I knew in my household, college was not an option. My mother made that very clear that if you were to stay in her house, it was high school, and then immediately you will go to college. And we became 4th generation college graduates, as that was the expectation in our family.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what nobody knew was that 2008 was coming up. College wasn't gonna mean a damn thing to nobody. Okay.
Right.
So I mean, that was really the only expectation. And don't have no damn kids out of wedlock is what is what. And to this day, I'm 37 years old with no children out of wedlock because and my mother is gone, as we talked about on the last show. Or the show before the last show, but I'm very much still stuck on I don't want to have children outside of wedlock. It may change because I'm getting older, but those are really, honestly, those are the only real expectations that were put on my sisters and I growing up. And college is a must. It's not a choice. It's a requirement if you're going to stay in this house. And also not having children when you cannot raise them. But I guess for me, I felt like I was sheltered so much growing up that it took me a long time to grow up. And honestly, after my mom passed was when I really feel like I kind of grew up. And that was because I had to. It was so much I didn't know. And I was like, wow, like I'm running around here trying to figure things out. Like, I feel like I literally, honestly, the last part of late last year, finally started adulting, to be honest. And I know people are like, you mad? Oh yeah, because I had to figure things out along the way and realize that I'm responsible for, well, I always kind of knew I was responsible for myself a long time ago, but it's kind of different when you have experienced the loss of a parent. And I don't know if I said this before, but taking over the mortgage of the house and doing all types of other stuff, and also realizing that a insurance policy could have paid for we ain't even gonna go there, but like, it's just things that I don't know. I don't listen to other people and societal pressures because F all of that, they don't live my life or do whatever, so I don't listen to that. But it's mostly me telling myself there's more to be done as far as being an adult.
Yeah, that's real. I know for me, I had big shoes to fill. And I think it was because of the time. So I wasn't thinking about, okay, back when my mom was growing up, like, it was, you had to have like certain things, or it was cheaper to have certain things. So like for me, I grew up with, you don't want to be giving your money to the landlord, like you need to go ahead and get your house. So like,
yeah,
I was very frugal coming out of college in terms of like savings so that I could get a house. So I got my condo for my 25th birthday, but I closed when I was 24. And so it was just like, I know that was one pressure for me to be like, I am not paying no landlord. But outside of that, like, even going through that process of houses, like, people just like, oh, go get a house, but it's not telling you all the other steps that it takes for you to get a house. And even though my mom is like in real estate, it's like some of this stuff don't apply
Yeah.
You know, especially that was around like 07. So like the mortgage rates were acting crazy. It was just like a lot of different things that life just throws at you like curveballs. And it's like if you don't have anyone to help you navigate through that, you lost. Like you were literally lost. And then I just got, I guess life kicked me in the ass probably like 10 years in home. I didn't even do a home warranty thing. And so when shit started breaking down, it was like, you ain't got a home warranty? And I was like, who was supposed to tell me that? Like, it's certain stuff that, you know, they're like, go get a house. But they're not like, go get a home warranty.
Right.
Go get if you have older houses, or if you are buying like a foreclosure, make sure you have like title insurance because somebody might do, you know, something might be wrong with the title. And you don't want anyone to just take your house. So it's like so many things that I feel like society tries to pressure people into doing with this image of like you made it, but then they leave out the baby steps.
Girl, yeah, like the house thing is crazy because you like getting your house, but even when you get your apartment, like, okay, I got to get furniture. But when you have a house, you getting everything. You changing the vents and stuff. You making sure the water heater is not more than 10 years old because then the insurance ain't gonna take care of that.
Right.
You do like so much stuff just to be an adult. Definitely be in a homeowner. Nobody tells you that kind of stuff when you're the homeowner.
Right. And homing, and for our listeners, when we say home, that is inclusive of the spectrum. So it is condo, it is townhouse, it is house, a single family house, it's a duplex, like wherever you have purchased and took a mortgage out. That's what we're talking about. Because I also feel like people, when they, even if you look at the American Dream scenario, it's like a house with a picket fence. My house don't have no picket fence, and I got HOA fees. Like,
it's got a wrought iron fence,
right? Right now. But like, I think that people got to understand that it's not just one picture of, you know, house life. Like, because you got a condo doesn't mean you're less than someone who got a single family house. You know, like I feel like the pressure or the epitome of one thing needs to kind of be removed when you're thinking about adulthood.
I agree. It's just, I think even when it comes down to getting a car, knowing how to get a car and making sure you don't get abused or whatever in that way, or even the jobs that you take. Because I think not enough attention is placed on accepting a job and like really calculating, can this job really do for you what you need it to do, and negotiating the salary, and also figuring out when it's time to go. Like, we don't think about, I don't know, it's so much that but what is, I guess though too, what is the manual for adulting? Like, what would
no manual? It's living. You literally have to live day by day, live. Because I'm even thinking of the stuff that my mom told me about, like, this what you're going to have to do when you're adult. Like, girl, that's 5%.
Right.
Right. It's just like, I think in your upbringing, your parents hopefully will give you certain skills to be able to modify your life to whatever happens in these things. So like, you have kind of like an ambitious or go-getter spirit if you need to secure another job, or if you need to make changes or move for whatever, like you can do that. Or, you know, if you don't know everything, you know where to go to find it. So hopefully, I think that's the I guess educational grounding that our parents do to us, to make sure that whatever happens, we are capable. Not that we're gonna always master everything, but that we're capable of figuring it out.
I can attribute my cooking and some of my domesticated skills because my mom was an entrepreneur. So she wasn't always like in the kitchen and stuff like that because she was working. So I took home ec in high school. Like that was my elective. I took home ec and yearbook. Like yearbook was just because I like
That's some good kind of stuff. Yearbook was a
but home ec, I could bake me some brownies, eggs.
Yes.
I can make a meatloaf. Like I can make stuff from scratch, and I think those are also things that prepared us. But I don't even know if they got home ec now.
I don't think that they do. I haven't heard people talk about actually going to home economics in forever. I haven't heard of it.
Yeah, we used to have banking too. Did y'all have banking? Like we learned how to write checks and
no.
And supposedly we had a bank at our school, but I don't know what that is.
I had banking in elementary school.
Okay then.
Yeah, I don't remember.
You learned about all the coins.
I think
that's different.
Like we learned about all the coins and we deposited, like we had it was fake money. And
we did like contracts and that kind of stuff. Yeah.
I mean, I think economics.
Y'all was really advanced. Y'all was really teaching life skills. I feel bad for this generation of children that are coming through, especially the COVID kids, because these children are going to be dumb as hell. Like they are. And the fact that they aren't even teaching something as small as cursive anymore in schools, like they aren't teaching just basic skills like how to write and not just type on a computer or like we just said, banking skills. These kids, I mean, I think some people are like, man, direct deposit and to go there and we moving to Bitcoin, all this other stuff or whatever. I get that. I get those conversations too, but it's going to be, I think, so much adulting that these kids are going to lack because one, you got a bunch of, well, never mind, I ain't even going to talk about
But no, for real, you got people who got kids who don't even have bank accounts, and it's like, what in the world? Like, Cash App is not a bank account.
It's not. It's just not, y'all. It's not
PayPal is not a bank account.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm sounding like Amaretta right now.
Yeah.
It's not a bank account. Like, it's not. And
I hate to tell y'all that.
That's literally a basic skill. I know we don't have checks anymore, but I was so excited to sign my first check. Like when
I got millions of checks.
I mean, I still have checks, but are we really using checks right now? Signing your first check is like a rites of passage. Like using your cursive signature.
Yes.
You be like,
look at me adulting.
Right. And it gotta be like real distinctive so nobody can easily copy it. But it also has to be fly. Like okay, I got you signature. Like one of my happiest days signing my name was for my mortgage, and it wasn't even just because it was the mortgage, but it was me signing my signature all the time on pieces of paper.
That's one thing they don't tell you either. You don't sign no one piece of paper when you do your mortgage. You sign about 102 of them. And my signature, the first page, don't look like my signature on the last page. I was tired.
Right. Listen, and after you sign them papers, well, in the midst of you signing them papers, your deal could fall apart. That's another thing. I had 3 closings scheduled.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm sure I know this for a fact that it's worse in this climate now. Because at least when we got houses, it wasn't like everybody claiming for the same house and paying thousands of dollars over asking and all that kind of stuff.
Right.
And
so
much is falling apart.
Yeah.
I think, and I think you got to evolve as an adult. Like, it's not like adulthood at 25 is definitely not adulthood at 38. Like, it's so many other things that you go through. I think we touched on it a little bit about like life insurance policies, your estate together, but it is so many things to add on. So like for me next year, I gotta go through a whole thing of when you turn 40, a list of shit that happens that, you know, your mammogram, like different cancer screenings, like who keeps up with this stuff? Like have a repository of not like a whole big FAQ. Like just
Yeah.
put FAQ on shit you need to know because it gets tiresome. And then other people be like, you know that? Who was supposed to tell me?
Right.
Girl.
Yeah.
So to kind of go into who's supposed to tell you, like one, I guess like what kind of questions do y'all ask to get information in adulthood? Is it like your friends? Is it your doctor, your counselor? Do you go to message chat board? Do you go to Google? Like, what
That
do you guys do?
I think Google is your best friend. Like, and Google is so dope that you ain't even got to type in the whole thing because other people have asked the same questions. So you don't feel alone.
Right.
Yeah, so I mean, if it's some things that I need to know, I will go to Google or YouTube University. Like, I don't want nobody to sleep on how dope YouTube can be. Now, of course, you got to get through all of the people with the misinformation, but that's why those life skills that your parents should have taught you, like you just use your spirit of discernment and you look at different people and get different advice, different points of advice from people, and you go from there. So I look at a bunch of things just so I can make sure I'm making the best decision for me, what I need to do. You know, like I think I talk to some friends sometimes about like things since I took over the mortgage, like things I need to know about the house and all this other stuff. Like I've reached out to my friends before, like, what did you do when you did such and such, or what did you do with that, or whatever. Just or even reaching out to the mortgage company or like talking to my sisters sometimes too with things that I just need to know. So yeah, go where you can.
Mm-hmm.
I got a lot of aunts and uncles, so you pick like Jazz said about YouTube. You pick the right person to ask the right question.
Yes.
Don't go to the wrong aunt asking something you're gonna end up putting like castor oil on your knee. You don't need that. But also, I think a part of it is like what your parents taught you.
Mm-hmm.
But for me, is like my daddy did a lot. And so when my daddy passed away, my mama didn't know.
Yeah.
So, she was putting money on a bill like it was like layaway or something. But Georgia Power wanted their whole bill, and she didn't quite understand that because she was really spoiled. But that's neither here nor there. So, you live and you learn because
Yeah.
she was about 60 years old when I had to tell her this ain't suggested retail value. It's
Right. It's not
bro.
45. It is paid today. Not
You pay them. That ain't how
right.
they work.
It's so funny.
Or she was like, "You keep going to get your oil changed. I don't understand because you do this like every 3 months or so."
3,000 miles.
And it
Right.
was she was like, "I don't never do that." Yeah, because your husband did it.
Right.
So
Yeah. Get
you
your
gotta-
brakes changed, people. Cause my other friend, it's a cooperative adulting.
It is.
So brakes be going out. Your brake pads are not forever. Like
they're
car
not supposed
maintenance.
to sing to you. They're not supposed to sing.
Yes.
Right. Your windshield wipers have to be changed. Like this,
Yes.
and it's smearing and
Right. You need a tune up for your
right.
car.
It is
What do
so
you?
many things.
Yeah.
Like everything in your and I looked at the manuals sometimes that like come in the car or came with your
Mm-hmm.
house. But if not there, I ask people. So I mean, I know it's a pain to go to like get your car service, but I'll ask the man, I'll be like, is it anything else I can use?
Yeah.
What else I need to do to help have longevity for my car? Because I'm not trying to buy another car. Or like with my house, after I found out about the whole insurance thing, is there like a post insurance
Oh
that
yeah.
I get? Or especially with my remodel. So when I did my remodel, I was like, is there anything that I could get now since that other time has passed where I could, have some type of insurance savings, you know, for the investment that I put in, or even just I know with my benefits for my job, they have you could talk to a lawyer. It's like just a consultation. So you could call a lawyer about, you know, anything from if you're having a dispute with a contractor to I'm trying to probably like move some money. Will I be taxed there? You know, accountant. So like I don't know if y'all can expand on like any other like subject matter experts y'all have in y'all life that help you like give counsel.
Not like subject matter experts, but you made up had a good point of like just knowing your benefits package. Like if you have a job and you know you put into work, you should really read what benefits you have, because sometimes you don't have to pay for stuff. Like if Kilbs doesn't have to pay for a lawyer consultation,
Right.
why shell out them hundreds of dollars if it's already technically paid for? Or I know some people have like gym memberships tied to their benefits, so they have like $100 a month to use or any health kind of thing. So they can have gym memberships. Some people like massages every month, whatever. Just know your benefits package so you won't be shelling out money and you can live a better life, a gooder life. I'm gonna say gooder.
Yeah, gooder life.
And I think to kind of go back to what Jazz was saying earlier about they left off the security part with the job. Tawna's gonna roll her eyes at me about this, but like I wholeheartedly agree with that. Like looking at your job, but most importantly, looking at what type of life you will live.
Yeah.
And so I'm trying to write a book about that. But like honestly, looking at instead of just picking a job,
Yeah.
what job is going to fulfill your livelihood needs? So
Agreed.
and when people think of necessities, we always think water, shelter, food. And it's more than that. Like for me, I gotta go travel.
Right.
Like, I have to have a mental break. I have to go, well, not really no more, but like before it was like I need to go get a pedicure like every 2 weeks.
Yeah.
That was my mental health aspect of it. So really looking at one how you want to live your life, and then from there that's when you pick out like what type of job you need to fulfill that life, because just going willy-nilly picking out a job, that don't mean you're gonna get paid
Right.
equitable or it's going to cover your livelihood.
I totally agree. I think it's really important that you talk about what type of life, like you were just saying, what type of life do you want to have? Like, do you like clothes? Like me? Like, do you want to always look good? Or do, like you just said, traveling? Or do you like expensive restaurants? Do you like perfume? Like, what is it that you like? And if you're a simple person, then maybe, all you like, I just need to be able to pay my bills and just have a little bit of money left over for 50 Hennessy and a pack of Newport with 100s in a box. Like, that's okay. That's okay too, Like, you just want the simple life. You're a janitor. That's admirable job. Or if you're just like, listen, I want to be able to have a vacation home. I want to have a nice home here and then a vacation home. And then from that vacation home, I still want to be able to vacation wherever I want to. If I want to leave the country at least once a year and be able to have my children go to the best schools, then you know that you need to work a lot harder to get that life that you want. I think it's worth it, because what you don't want to do is you don't want to find yourself at a job where they done decided for you what type of life you gonna have.
Right.
So,
No, that is definitely real. And it's resources out there that can help you if you don't know how to navigate. I mean, I don't know how long it's been happening, but like life coaches, like people
yeah,
that help you look at what you want to do, that, if you want to improve your life, if you want to pivot, so you were doing this and you want to do something else, they just help you. And I feel like a good set of girlfriends. Like I call my friends my board of directors and I bounce ideas off of them, so they like, it sound crazy, it's not, or I can help you. So I mean, I think that we constantly have to recalibrate in this life because you could lose your job. Like I've literally been laid off. And I mean, I was afforded a situation where it didn't really hit that hard, but I had to pivot.
Right.
And so you have to, I think, as an adult, like in those conversations, you always have to have plans A through D. Like
Right.
nothing is usually working the way it's supposed to. Like
Right.
no one's life. Like no matter how people act like their lives are perfect on Instagram or whatever. Like people usually got about 5 or 6 backup plans.
Yes, they do.
And be flexible. I think that's what I learned in my adulting situation. Like things don't go as planned, but sometimes you got to be flexible, and the universe gives you the next step that you're supposed to take, and you just roll with it. And it rains, but the sunshine. I just saw the sunshine just 2 seconds
Yeah.
ago.
And I think what killed you, I think what you were saying about your friends and board of directors, I think it's really important to choose your friends wisely.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we need to spend a little time talking about this, because when you don't choose your friends wisely, they can get you into you allow them to get you into some mess sometimes that you cannot come out of. It's difficult to come out of. And this is the same conversation I want to have with also choosing the person that you decide to be with, because this person could really tear you down, or people who could build you up and help like y'all grow and move forward together. It's so important that you look at the life that you want and build your friends based off of that. Look at the life you want and build your partner off of that too. And if you're not aligned, don't be afraid to walk away from friendships, from relationships. I know it's a lot easier said than it's done, because it's kind of just like, leave, go away. It's harder than that. We all have been there. But again, what kind of life do you want?
Definitely.
Right.
Yeah, if you always got friends who begging you for money, if you always have friends that are like they can't get themselves together, you going out and they like, well, girl, I ain't gonna be able to do it. Can you help me out? Maybe that's not your people anymore. Maybe you need to be around someone who can be like, no, I got me, you got you, or whatever, or like, let me show you something new. Maybe you're not the smartest person amongst your friends. That might be an issue too.
I don't think everyone is dumb somewhere. Like, we all got our I was about to say blonde moments, but we all got our little moments where we are not the smartest. Yes. We are Homer Simpson with the band playing in your head. You be like, what?
Yeah, when math come up, I just leave it to you, Kilbs. It ain't me. And
listen, I had AAA for so long, I had forgot how to jump a car, and I be calling Swanda, being like, Swanda.
Yeah, but see, that's that balance with friendship, though, too. Right. What you don't know, your friends do know, but it's a real balance, and it's based off of equality, equity in the friendship, not you doing all this for, like, imagine if y'all had a friend and this friend was calling you for everything. My tire is messed up, girl. Can you come help me? Or I don't have no money. I'm stuck at this club and I can't get home. Can you help me? Imagine if you had a friend like that. That's exhausting.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell are you even going out for if you don't have enough money to get back home?
Right.
I refuse to have exhausting friends anymore.
Yeah.
Right.
That is definitely real. Exhausting friends. Yeah. Like, first off, I feel like we don't have to be perfect.
Yeah.
And we
at this age. But I feel like you should be self-sufficient.
100%.
As well as much as you get value from others, you need to give value.
Yes.
If you are a headache, and most people know when they're being a headache, like, you have to curb that. So I think that the several things I agreed on that home list, you have to, one, be able to accept feedback, as well as be able to know yourself, like, manage your time. You, like, if you a late person and then you wondering why nobody gonna invite you nowhere because you always being late, like, it's not gonna, like, that's irritating.
Right.
like if you can't admit you wrong and you just gonna literally die on the hill of you being wrong versus being like, yeah, I was wrong. Like those are real characteristics that you are an adult, like, you know, because we all don't have this shit figured out. I was gonna say stuff, but
Right.
it's shit.
Nobody does.
And I think ultimately you got to give yourself grace, but also you got to kind of let shit roll off your back. Like, don't really be down and out about stuff because there is no manual. Like, I literally searched the internet and was like, things that adults could do, but like it's articles here and there, and they was really giving bland, they was giving raisins in the carrot salad kind of vibes. But like I don't feel like there's no one manual that's a one size fits all for everyone, and it helps us navigate adulthood.
True.
Did Jasmine pay her bills?
Leave cousin Jasmine alone. She'll be back momentarily.
Girl, this is the commercial break. When your bill says due, that means you pay it on the due date. If you
like my
can't,
mama.
right. If you cannot pay your bills, that means that you will call the company and ask for a payment arrangement.
Yes.
That was the commercial break because I was like, you ain't pay your bill. You got to.
I was like, what is it that just interfered and it just knocked me off, like cut the volume? I was like, oh my God. Listen, this is another part of adulting coming back in.
Back in. You just gotta jump back in like double dutch.
Yeah.
Funny.
Oh,
so we've been doing a lot of talking about like the downside of adulthood. I wouldn't even say the downside. You have to woman up, man up. You have to, you know, jump in with your whole self and do what you got to do. But on the good side is you get to do what you want to do as an adult. So what are some things that y'all do to get what you want?
buying clothes. I love like fashion. I love going out. I love experiences. Mm-hmm. And I feel like I work damn hard to get those. Like when I tell you I work hard. And I'm trying to get to the point where I'm not working as hard as I'm working right now. But I work damn hard for whatever I have. So if I say, okay, Jasmine, you worked a lot, go ahead and buy that or whatever. Or you want to go. You got some time. You always working. You never take days off. Do what you want to do. I feel like nobody should ever work so hard all the time where they're just working, and they don't give to themselves. Take yourself out to a great meal. Like, try some food that you never tried before. Maybe on somebody else's dime too.
You might have to pay afterwards, but it's still a treat, maybe.
Girl.
You take yourself out. Maybe buy something that maybe you wouldn't have spent that much money before. But listen, one day we all gonna be dead as hell, okay? And none of this gonna matter anyway. But have the life you want while you have it. I sure do. I treat myself.
What are some things you do, TDot?
You know, I like to eat. I go out a lot to eat. Mm-hmm. I don't do fashion, but I don't look a mess at brunch. You know, I don't.
Right.
I come through a little bit at brunch. I go on vacation sometimes. Kilbs lets me come on vacations with her.
Yes.
Me and the boo, we do staycations a lot and go here and there. You know,
come on, boo.
Like Jasmine, you gonna perish one day, so you know you might as well use it. I remember like when I first was an adult, even though I was in this house, so I was past adult stage. I was like, oh, I really want some ice cream. And my homeboy was like, you know, you grown and can go get you some ice cream. You can leave the house. You don't have to ask for permission. You can just do it. And I think that's when I decided I was going to be an adult. I was like, oh,
right.
It's late and I can go leave and get ice cream.
Yeah.
Who knew?
So Jasmine was saying how she worked hard to get it. So like, what are some of those things that you do? You got a slush fund, like
Yes, I have little buckets in my bank account so I can go to these different places. Also, I got credit, to be honest.
we did not touch on that, but credit is real and it's real nice. That's
And I pay it back and I make sure I have points. So sometimes I get stuff for free and relationships. So, you have friends that may be working at places that can help you get hotels.
God.
You may have friends that can help you do other stuff, so
right.
If you build relationships and be nice to people, sometimes you can just get stuff,
And that's fact. That is definitely fact. So everyone knows that one of my favorite things to do is travel.
Yes.
And so I get asked all the time, how you be going these places? And everyone thinks I'm rich and I'm not.
I thought you were a blogger. You're a travel blogger?
I do that sometimes too.
Yeah.
But TDot touched on it a little bit, having buckets of money. So I think I've been traveling even throughout college, back when them AirTran $99, $98 student fares. So I think that's the first thing that kind of really was like, oh, traveling on budget. Like traveling on a budget does not have to be ghetto. It could be nice. You just have to know where to look for things. So my first suggestion or tip is to find discounted rates. So if you work somewhere, shouts out to the government, shouts out to being a consultant. Just wherever, if your job offers hotel discounts, a lower rate than what's published, that's definitely one. Airfares are tricky. We're not students anymore, so and AirTran is out of business. It's now Southwest.
Yeah.
The other thing that I do for traveling consciously is credit. So I put my whole life on a credit card. Anything that I could put on a credit card that's not going to charge me more than what I had to pay. So like if a bill charges me like $18.95 or 2% or whatever, I'm not putting it on there. But if it's free to use a credit card, I'm putting it on there. And so I basically put my whole life that I can on the credit card, and then I use the cash back. I use the points to travel. And that's kind of my reward, or at least offset it. The other thing is planning ahead.
For sure.
So for my birthday, I plan like 3 to 4 months, sometimes greater. And I go to and because we're going on a group, I do groups. I'll be like, okay, I'm gonna go to Google Flights and I'm see what's the cheapest place with using the little fare, the fare estimator, and it kind of gives you what is the average price and or what's the prices for different time periods. Yep, we hear you.
Y'all can hear me?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I can't.
Other things I do is barter. It always pays the bills to know people that work for different chains, whether it's hotels, whether it's airlines. What else? Oh, and travel blogging is another thing. People pay for reviews, or for you to go visit a place and give a discount sometimes. So those are other things. Anything that I probably missed, TDot?
If you pay like certain bills, so I know like in Georgia, if you do Georgia Natural Gas, they'll give you points every time you pay.
Okay.
So like if you link your Sky Miles to your Georgia Natural Gas, they'll give you Sky Miles every month. So, if you're real nice to all your relatives like I am, I give them my Sky Miles number and tell them when they pay their gas bill.
Yeah, that was the other strategy I forgot. So, like, try to stick with one provider for like a hotel and one for an airline, so that you're constantly using that, so you could build up, as well as like it brings your status up. So I think I'm almost like, I'm 7 going into 8 years with Marriott. So now I'm literally like lifetime gold. So no matter if I don't travel a lot, I'm still gold for like the rest of my Marriott status. So getting your rewards, signing up for and it only takes your email and it's free. The other one is like that skymiles.com, or like different shopping, like your regular, you could shop, and you get points. There's also like Rakuten, you shop and you get cash back. It's a whole art to it. So
there is
like some things that I do. I don't like couponing, but that's another one that people do. But don't let your money use you. You use your money.
I get a CVS 40% off every week. I go buy one item every week from CVS, even if it's a candy bar. I feel like, I'm about to get my 40% off.
I don't care how much money I have. I'm going to use a coupon.
Yeah,
I'm going to go find one.
I never buy anything full price. I don't believe in spending all of my money on anything. It's silly. Not when you have coupons, not when you have ways to get things for free. I'm always gonna find the cheapest way to buy something.
Listen, and I price match. That'd be the other thing.
Yes.
I price match. Also, if you see, going back to a little traveling, if you see a fare that looks too good to be true, go ahead and book it.
Buy it.
Right. Most of them got 24 hours for you to cancel. So don't be like, oh, I'm going to hold on to this penance and then I'll wait. Like, go ahead, jump in, put it on your credit card. So if you don't have a credit card and you done messed your credit up, or somebody done had a bill in your name that messed your credit up growing up, go get you a secure credit line and start from there. Like,
exactly.
Cash is cool, but credit is king. And that really affects like your whole life. Like, we don't pay 22% for APR for cars. Like, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Your mortgage should not be over 3%. Like, and that's high. Like, people really have to get into this credit. Like, this whole putting your money underneath your mattress is not it.
Not what we do.
It's not. You need an interest-bearing account.
Right. It's so much to do. Like, I really just hope that people listen. I know it's still some people like, 40, maybe even 50-year-olds who are still struggling as to how to get this adulting thing together. I think it really is one step at a time. And like, forgiving yourself for past mistakes that you've made, but also understanding like you got to get activated and you got to do what you need to do. Otherwise, you're going to be a Walmart greeter when you're 80 years old.
And it's okay if that's what you just want to do, but you don't want to have to do
it.
Right. Right.
Want to do it, but not to have to do it. Have options in your
options to stay at home.
Exactly.
Yeah. And another, I guess I'm just thinking of this while we're wrapping this up. And I guess I'll start off the takeaways of, giving people advice of things that they could do to kind of make adulting better. So mine will definitely be 401k matching. I know you don't want to put your money. I don't care if it's $10. Let them match your $10 because that's $10 extra you didn't have. So from day one, starting a job, or if you have it, go and put $100 a year, like something, so that they can match versus not putting nothing, because that's free money. You get everything out of this country we can, or out of your employer.
100% agreed. I think that was really good advice for her. And I think like do what you can with the years that you have to make it count. and have the best life for you. We've all made mistakes in the past, but just move forward with knowing, okay, I gotta get myself together. If you haven't got yourself together, if you got yourself together, that's good. You have figured out adulting. But for those of you who haven't, don't be too hard on yourself, but also recognize, as in the words of the prophet Kim, get your fucking ass up. Get your fucking ass up and work.
Wait.
I'm not dealing with you.
That was from privilege.
I'm not dealing with you.
What about you, TDot?
Well, you touched on what I was gonna say. Like, adulting is hard, and just give yourself grace. And like, some stuff you gonna jack up, but it's, you know, you get that bill for your taxes, and you ain't got the money to pay the taxes. You just do better next year. You know, give yourself a little grace. But take time to actually do what you need to do. Like, if you need to sit down, give your time some time for you to be like, yeah, I need to make a budget. Make time to make a budget. Don't just go out and party with your friends all the time. So, make sure that you good.
Right.
Right.
Alrighty. It was a good episode. And so I hope you guys know that we know that adulting is ghetto as fuck. And
we totally know.
And it's not a book. There's no cliff notes, like I said, to help us navigate it. So you do the best that you could do, but don't ignore it. You kind of got to take it head on, because shit happens. You cannot escape the IRS. You cannot escape your bills unless you want to know bankruptcy, and then you get nothing for 7 years. But honestly, just like give yourself, and I think we all said this, give yourself grace.
Yes.
If you need friends, a board of directors to help you navigate it, there's resources out there, and just live your best life.
100%.
So that is it, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.
2 and 2.